So, good morning, everybody. Welcome along to today's session. I can see people joining us now. Yeah, okay, we've got some good numbers coming in there. Welcome along to today's session. For those that don't know, my name, as you can see from the screen there, my name is Owen, and I am going to take you through just a kind of quick 30-minute session on essential tips for the likes of Outlook, Teams, and OneDrive. And just to bear in mind, this is the first of a few sessions that we'll be running throughout the year. So if you're interested in finding out more about the kind of sessions that we give, I'll be giving out my email address and all the information that you need as well. Just a couple of things just to kind of get the ball rolling before we go into actual, the likes of Outlook's, Teams, and OneDrive. We are also going to be running what we call a learning journey over the next kind of 3 or 4 months. We're going to be running 2 or 3 sessions in February, March, April, as you can see from our lovely learning journey here. And I'll be taking people through, everything from, you can see, Power Query to Power Pivots, and there's quite a number of options in there. And again, these are our kind of paid sessions. We will be doing kind of free ones as well, 30 minutes, but these are a more detailed one. We call it the Unlocking 90 Minutes of Knowledge for just €90. So you'll be able to kind of sign up for a few of those as well. So if you're looking for information, we'll be sending it out, but also you can contact us as well. Anybody who is joining us today, we are offering a 10% off any course that you book this week. So you can see we run, we cover kind of nearly every aspect when it comes to computer related stuff, from networking to obviously our Microsoft products. But there's a 10% discount on any course that's booked this week as well. Just to say to you, the next 30-minute free webinar that I'm going to be giving next month is all about Copilot. All right. Now, if you haven't seen, and I'm sure you've all been hearing about AI and how AI is helping people, well, we're going to be talking about the Copilot aspect for Microsoft's Copilot. So again, that's our next free webinar. So again, we'll be sending out information based on that as well. But look, rather than me talking about all the different options that are in there, what I'll do is I'm going to start straight off with Outlook. And I'd like to kind of give you a couple of little things in here. You know what? Outlook is one of those funny products that when we often say, do you work with Outlook? Most people say, yes, I work with Outlook on a daily basis. So therefore, I don't really need training. Okay. But here lies the problem. Okay. And this is a statement I heard, and it's one that I use all the time now. I heard this a couple of weeks ago, and it's Microsoft is evolving. Are you? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, when it comes to Outlook, when it comes to Excel, do you constantly say to yourself, yes, there has to be a quicker way to do this? The answer to that question is there's always a quicker and easier way to do it, especially when it comes to the likes of Excel. And again, you'll see with that learning journey, you'll learn fantastic tools like Power Query and your Power Pivots that just make working with the application so much easier. The same applies to Outlook. Now, I could talk for the next 2 hours on Outlook alone on some of the brilliant new features. Like one of the features I'm going to show you this morning is our quick parts. Now, how many of you out there are currently using quick parts? Do you even know what I'm talking about when I talk about quick parts? There's another feature called quick steps. Now, we won't be covering that today, but if you attend one of my time management with Outlook webinars, or you do any Outlook training, you'll learn all about these new features. Quick parts, by the way, I want you to think about every time an email comes in, do you have a number of steps that you have to take every time that email comes in? Well, what a quick part does is it takes care of those 3, 4, and 5 steps and puts them into one. So now whenever you want it done, you click on a button and it gets done for you. Okay, it's like having macros in Outlook without the code. That's the easiest way to describe it. But today we're going to concentrate on the quick parts. So there's quick steps. You'll notice a lot of quick this, auto that now coming out of Outlook. And this feature that I'm about to show you is probably one of my favorite. Here's an example of how it works very quickly, and I'll show you how to access it And again, if you want to learn more about these, well, that's where our kind of the webinars or seminars or training plans come into place. I want you to think about this. When you send an email, okay, is there a body of text that you use on a regular basis? The answer is probably yes. Could be a paragraph, could be a couple of paragraphs. Now, how do you currently access that information? Well, I bet what you probably do is go to an existing email that you've already sent it from, copy that text and paste it in. And every time you want to use that body of text, whatever it is, you're often going off to find an email to then copy and paste it in. Well, guess what? You are doing things the long way. Let me introduce you to what's called quick parts. It's found, if I open up a blank email here, it's found under your insert tab, and here it is here, quick parts. Remember all the terms I'm using, quick steps, but today we're covering the quick parts side of things. Now, I already have two bodies of text already saved. One is called important email. The other is called quick part instructions. So just in case I wanted to send how quick part works for somebody very quickly, because people are often asking me, oh, how do you do the quick parts? Well, I have a lovely step-by-step guide on how to do that. So these are bodies of text that I want to use on a regular basis. So think about this. I'm starting a brand new email. I'm putting in my CC, my BC, my important subject line, and then I need to say, right, I need to access that body of text. Now, you're never going to see me go off to the email, find it, to copy and paste it in. All I'm going to do is into my insert tab, go to quick parts, and either select one of these. So imagine it was my quick part instructions. Bang. How quick and easy is that? Okay, there's my body of text, my lovely formatting in there. And the beauty about this is you can save as many quick parts as you like. Okay, and the way you do it, by the way, is type out your body of text, you highlight the piece of text that you want to save, and all I'm going to do then is insert quick parts and save it to my quick part gallery. And you can make it so much easier and so much quicker now. Because one of the rules of thumb that we have is, when emails come in, so when we run a course called Time Management in Outlook. And what it does is it takes you through using Outlook, but properly, more effectively, and using the likes of these. One of the rules that we have is when an email comes in, we call it the do it rule. Can it be done within 5 minutes? Well, when you start using the likes of the quick parts that I've just shown you, or the quick steps, the answer to that question is, of course it can. Do you know what makes these quick parts even better? Watch this. So you can see here, I have one called important email. It's called quick part instructions. So it's important that when you're saving these quick parts, that you give them a relevant name. Why? Well, watch this. I put in my I put in my CC, put in my BC, put in my subject, and then I say, well, this is the important email. So I start typing out the name, and look, see the way a box suddenly appears at the top of that? All I have to do is hit enter, and look what it does in an instant. Or if that wasn't the one that I wanted, no problem. It's actually the quick part, look, instructions. And as I start to type it out, all I have to do is hit enter. How much quicker and easier is that now when it comes to Outlook? It's called a quick part. All you need to do is type out your body of text or your email or whatever it is you're using on a regular basis, and then just save that to the quick part gallery. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, I've a bit more experience with Outlook and I use the templates button over here. And templates, by the way, is a brilliant button because you can save emails like that. The difference, though, is with quick parts, all you have to do is type out the name of whatever you've given that quick part, and it automatically pulls that piece of text for you. And there is a perfect example of how you can make it that bit quicker and easier when it comes to these. Okay, and again, these just make it so much easier and so much quicker. And again, this is why we call it one of the sessions, time management with Outlook. Now, moving on from there, I just want to show you another little feature that I love. Over the years, and by the way, I've been using Outlook for I think about 20 something years now at this stage. So I've seen really where it's come from, especially Excel, by the way, big Excel nerd. But I've seen where it's come from to where it is today. And it's just when you start to see these new features that Microsoft are bringing out all the time. So if you're using Microsoft 365 like I am, you're getting all the new bells and whistles with it. And they are all designed to make it that bit easier. And especially then if you start using some of the AI tools that come in and Copilot. Like Copilot's like having your own personal assistant. That's how good it is. But one of the features and one of my favorite little buttons is this one. So over the 20 years plus years of using these applications, to this day, I still haven't taught myself how to type. So when I type, I use these kind of 6 fingers here, and I have to look at the keyboard. So it's only when I type something out, I then realize when I look up, oh, okay, I've just typed the whole thing in uppercase. Now, in email terms, we all know the etiquette behind that. We're actually shouting if you're doing kind of it all in caps. Now, obviously, we don't want to send all our emails out like that. So what would you do in that scenario? More than likely, look up, go, oh, okay, highlight the whole thing, delete, switch off your caps lock and retype it out. Or you could just do this. Highlight the piece of text, go to your your format text tab, and sitting in your format text is my favorite little button called change case. And all I have to do is set that to sentence case, and hey presto, it's fixed it for me. Okay. Now, just to make that even better, rather than having to go to the button, if you like your shortcut keys, Shift F3. So Shift F3 is the shortcut key for toggling through the different options that are in that change case. So again, there to make it that little bit easier when you're working with Outlook. Okay, so again, you've seen the quick steps, the quick parts, okay, and then you've seen the actual change case. Now, there's a couple of other little things in here. And again, look, as I said, I'd love to be just talking about Outlook today, but I want to kind of cover a bit on Teams as well and a small bit on OneDrive too. While we're in an email, let's take a look at what's in the options tab here. Okay. Now, again, load of stuff in here. You've got your read receipts and so on and so forth. But I like this one. It's called delay delivery. Okay. I want you to think about this. This is a scenario I always use for this one. It's a Friday afternoon. You're about to send an email. You have a bit of time maybe on the Friday afternoon to bang out a few emails. However, you're now thinking, well, if I send this email now, it's going to join the hundreds of emails that person's going to get over the weekend, and mine will be way down the list when they go to look at it on Monday morning. So why not say, well, look, at the time to do it now, I won't put this on the long finger, everybody's favorite. Well, we defer it. Let's defer that email. I'll get to it on Monday. What happens Monday? Something else crops up and, distracts you from that one. So I have the time to do it now. What I like about this is fill in that email like you would to CC, BCC, subject line. Put in your message body using your lovely quick part. If you have an attachment, attach it. Okay. Once you've done that, then all you need to do, okay, is go to your delay delivery. And it's in there. Then I can say, well, look, don't send this now. I'd like to send this on Monday and I can set the exact date and time that I want that sent. What'll happen then is if I click close, I then click on the send button, and that will then sit in my Outlook box. Okay. Now here's the thing. What if you get into work Monday morning at 8 o'clock and realize, do you know what? I need to add something to that, or I don't need to send it. Go to your Outlook box, go to your Outbox, and you can actually you can stop it from sending, or you can amend it just before it sends as well. So your delay delivery, a really good one to have when it comes to that as well. Okay. So again, as I said to you, I just want to show you a few little features in here that can make life that little bit easier. Again, as I said, I'd love to spend the next hour with you showing you some of the really brilliant new features in here. And again, if you get a chance, okay, have a look. So I've shown you quick Parts, okay? There is this brilliant feature here called Quick Steps. Everybody has it. It's been around for a while. So again, especially if you're using Microsoft 365, it's all in there too. Okay, so that's a couple little things, excuse me, when it comes to Outlook. Well, let's take a look at Teams then. Okay, now I am going to cover OneDrive with you as well. And I know over the last number of years of working with Teams and working with OneDrive and working with a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of confusion over OneDrive. Okay. And when should you be using OneDrive? When should you be using Teams? And when should be using SharePoint? Well, again, we run a brilliant course on IAC that will cover all the bases for you. But the way I would look at it very quickly is, and I'm just going to jump into Teams here as well, just so we can see. I'll jump into one of the teams that I have here. Okay, I want to show you just a couple of things in here very, very quickly, right? There we go. So when it comes to Teams and when it comes to OneDrive, so the easiest way to describe your OneDrive, now, again, this is something you would have to talk to your IT department about, but the easiest way to describe OneDrive is OneDrive is for your personal files, or for example, a file you're working on, but you're not quite ready to share it yet. You're not quite ready for, your team to collaborate on it. Okay. So the key here is you don't save it on your PC, because in a lot of cases, or your laptop, that doesn't get backed up. Whereas if you're saving it to OneDrive, your OneDrive, okay, again, if anything happened to the laptop or your PC, you've always got access then back to your OneDrive. Okay, so OneDrive is a great place to kind of store any personal stuff, but also any individual files that you're not quite ready to collaborate or share on. Okay, now within OneDrive, you can share, you can collaborate, but what I would normally do then is when I'm ready for that document to be collaborated with, I would send it into Teams then, or to SharePoint. Okay, easiest way, look, your Teams just kind of sits on top of SharePoint. This is the kind of user-friendly way of essentially using SharePoint too. Okay, again, if you want to know more about these products, we have loads and loads of webinars, seminars, courses, you name it. Okay, but the first thing I wanted to kind of show you here was just to make life that little bit easier for you is, have you come across, so again, you have your navigation pane. So the first bit I want to show you is, this is called your navigation pane here. All right. Best part about this is it's fully customizable. So you can add features or parts of Teams to this, or you can manipulate it. So let's say, for example, you do a lot in the chat area. Okay. Well, again, if I want to kind of move this so it's a higher priority or higher on my list here, all I have to do is left click and look, I can drag those around. So actually I use chat the most, then I use Teams. Activity then just kind of shows me whenever I've been mentioned or anything like that, or a particular channel I'm part of, I'll see all those in my activity, but maybe actually the calendar is a bit more important. But how quick and easy is that then to manipulate those by simply dragging and dropping? It's that quick and that easy. Okay, so that's your navigation bar, which you can change very, very quickly. And again, if I wanted to add more features in here, so again, if I use certain applications, or I use polls, or I use, just so much here, I'm using the Viva Learning, whatever it is, I can add those and then decide where I want them on the list on my navigation pane. Okay, now take a look in here as well. So when you use Microsoft Teams, all right, you have on the left-hand side here, you have a list of all your teams. So not to confuse teams, but it's teams within teams, right? But easiest way, look, a team is made up of channels. Those channels then are all made up of these conversations. Okay, so you have a team, you can have multiple channels, and within those channels then you have your conversations. All right, now what I like about these also, so a bit like this navigation pane, as you start working more and more with teams. You get added to more and more teams. So again, this can get quite clustered after a while. So what you can do with Teams, your Teams panel here, is you can manipulate that too. So let's say, for example, these trainer outline one, I'm not really using it much anymore. So if it's not something I'm going to use, I don't want to delete it. I want still access to it. So what I can do is go to my little ellipse tool and I can hide that. So I can temporarily hide that if I wish. So if I hide that, you can see it's now hidden. Now we can see all the hidden teams that I have here. So if I wanted to bring any one of those back, say trainers, I can say show, and look, it just brings it back for me again. So again, I want to stay in the team, still have access to it, but I don't need to see it all the time. So you can show and hide these things as well. The same way with this, let's say I use trainers more than I do the HR department one. So again, I can click and I can drag and you can decide where these. So again, which ones do I activate or which ones do I use the most? And you can see all I'm doing, look, is clicking and dragging and deciding which ones and which order I want these appearing. Look out for it. My best tip when it comes to Teams, not one of my best tips, let's call it that, is always look out for that lovely ellipse tool, by the way. Okay, because it's that ellipse tool that gives you so much options. So for the team, I can hide it. I can manage the team, add members because maybe I'm an owner of that team. Okay, the same way for a particular channel. Look, my health and safety channel, I can go in, I can pin it. Now that's a really good one. So let's say, for example, there's a certain channel in a certain team you use on a regular basis. Well, why not make it even easier to access? Look, and I can pin certain ones. So payroll, yeah, that's definitely one I use a lot. Or under trainers here, I have all meetings here. Or my iLive, my lovely iLive system, I can pin that. And look, so now I can have a list of the channels. So I don't have to keep jumping to the right team to get to the right channel. I can pin those, or whenever I'm done, I can unpin it and it disappears from that list. So pinning is a big part of your channels too. Make them even easier to access. Because I know, and you know, that when it comes to teams, after a while, you could have 20, 30 different teams. There are companies out there that for nearly everything they do, they create a team for it. Okay, so you can now make it even easier. Hide them. You still want access to them, hide them. But you don't need to see them. You can move them up and down, or just make it even easier, pin those channels. Speaking of pinning, but guess what? Let's say I'm in a particular channel. So I'm in this health and safety channel here, and I've got lots and lots of messages in here. Okay. Well, guess what? You can also pin conversations. So as I'm working in this channel, I'm thinking, right, well, this is something to do with the EU AI Act. I need to get at this all the time. Go to the message itself, go to the conversation itself, look for the little toolbar, and you can see here your three little dots. And I've already pinned this, but look, I'll just show you again. I can just go and pin. And what it does then is it just says, this message will be pinned for everyone in the channel. That's fine. Click on pin. And look, I now get a little dialog box here. This is my channel details, and it shows me all, just specific to this channel, by the way, it shows me all the conversations that I've pinned. So I pinned the poll that we did, and I can go to channel, and I can say, well, actually, I want to see more about that EU AI Act. And you can see it again. So not only can you pin your channels, but you can now pin those really important conversations. For those that have used, just to point this out, for those that have used Teams before and used a thing called save the conversation, this is now replacing it. Okay, and you can see it just makes it so much quicker and so much easier then to access those. Now, the other bit that I like is, let's take a look at your bar up the top here. So the bar that I have up the top here is my search area. Okay, and with this search area, got the controls in the way here. So just bear with me for a second. So with this search bar, okay, this isn't just for searching for a particular person or a name. There is so much more. The search feature in both Teams, in SharePoint, in Outlook is absolutely brilliant. Okay. And it just does like really in-depth searching. So for example, if I was looking for a person, you can see all I have to do is start typing in Fiona, and you can see it'll show me Fiona. It'll show me any teams and channels that Fiona's part of or whatever it is. If I was looking for a particular document and I knew the name of the document, you can see all I have to do is start typing out part of the document and it appears in the list here. Okay. And if you've used Teams enough, that's more than likely where you've used it for. Okay. But there are a couple of other little features that's quite nice in here. Here's one example. Hit when you're in that search area, okay, hit the /, and what it does is it gives you a list of all the extra features that you can do in here. So you know the way if you said, well, I'm about to go into a meeting and I don't want to be, getting messages on Teams. So I'm going to set mine to do not disturb. So I can go in here, presenting, and I can say, set that to do not disturb or whatever it is. But guess what? You can also come in here, hit your / and say, type in available, or I can say, I'm busy. And as soon as I type in / busy, hit the enter key. Guess what it does? It changes it changes you to busy. Okay. The other bit that's really nice about here, and you can see, look, be right back. What's the news, weather, stocks? There's quite a bit in here. The bit I love is if I wanted to quickly send a message to somebody, right? Now, and I don't, when it comes to Teams, you have the lovely chat area. What's the chat area for? Well, the chat area is for, I need to send somebody a quick message. The amount of times people waste going into Outlook, typing out the message and clogging up people's inboxes. If I'm sending quick messages back and forth to somebody, this is where it should be done, in your Teams, in your chat area. Okay. And the way it works is, watch, if I wanted to very quickly chat with, say, for example, one of my colleagues, Amy, I do / chat, hit the enter key. Who's that person? I just start typing in Amy. There's Amy. And then all I have to do, and I'm not clicking in chat, I'm staying in Teams here, is type out the message. Did you get that document? And all I have to do is hit enter, and I've sent that message. And just to prove that it has, if I go into chat here, and there you can see, look, there's Amy and the message that I just sent. So that's search, or they call it the search box. Okay, but it has so much more to it, and all you have to do is hit that / and you can see it just gives you all the little options that you need. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about chat. Here's a lovely little shortcut key, one that I use. How many times have you used chat before and you're in the middle of typing something? You also receive the email I sent, right? And now I want to move on to the next line. Okay. Now you make the mistake of hitting the enter key. What does that do? It sends the message. Okay. So now you're either trying to edit the message or send another one as well. Okay. Now there is a little shortcut key for that. And you can see, sorry, excuse my spelling. If I do shift and enter, okay, it's putting a hard carriage return in there. Or make it even easier for yourself and hit Control, Shift, and X. And that brings you into the format section. And what it means now is I can type in as much as I like. When I'm ready, then I click on the send button. And by the way, that's not just for chats. That's also that if I'm in a team and I start to post here, you can see I can use my Control, Shift, and X to get that little bit more as well. Okay, so Control, Shift, and X specifically for your chat area. Really, really good. That Control, Shift, X, you can see it just gives you a few more options. So I can start formatting that text a bit as well. And when I'm ready for it to send, then I click on the send button. And remember, hit that send button. Okay. The other thing then is, if you're looking for more shortcuts, here's the shortcut key to get at those shortcuts, Control and decimal. Okay. And you can see if you hit Control dot, it gives you lots of little shortcuts for your messages, for your message list, you name it. So control dot or control decimal, whatever, is the shortcut key to get at all the shortcuts that exist within Teams as well. Final piece, and I won't keep you any longer. OneDrive. Okay. Now, I have access to my OneDrive, and my OneDrive sits within my Windows Explorer here. You can see I have my OneDrive here. Okay. And when it comes to Microsoft OneDrive, I now can, as I said to you, if I have certain files that I want to work off or certain files that I want to share, I can do that within OneDrive. The best advice I can give you here is if you are using OneDrive, it also exists within Teams. And this OneDrive here is giving you access to your personal one, My Files, but it's also giving you access to every single file that you've worked in every single team and every single channel. So if you want one location and you want to be able to access absolutely everything, document-wise, just go to OneDrive, look, and you can see these are all the files that I've been working off over the last while. I can access these. So rather than me having to go to the right team, to the right channel to find the file I was working on, guess what? You'll find it all in OneDrive. But if I only wanted to see my files, my personal ones, I can go in here as well. And I can access them. I can share them from within here if needs be. But my advice would be, I'm not quite ready to share it or collaborate on it. I'll work on my drive and my OneDrive. And then when I'm ready, then I'll put it into Teams, into the right channel. But best part, go to your OneDrive. If you haven't already, next time you've got Teams open in front of you, when we're finished this session, go to OneDrive. It will give you access to every single file. Look, I don't want to keep you any longer. I said I'll keep you for half an hour. The one thing I will say is if you want to learn more about what we've done today, okay? Or you want to learn more about that learning journey that we have our paid and we have our free ones. You can go to our website, it has a list of all our courses and outlines. You can find us on LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn, by the way, okay? Because I'm putting up tips and tricks and videos all the time up there as well. Or you can contact me, owen@iact.ie or jackie.jackson@iact.ie. Guys, thanks a million for attending. And as I said, if you have any questions, you've got our email addresses as well. Thank you.